Okay, so I hope this gave you like a good overview of like how all of this is working. Now let's talk about like Substrate, right? So Substrate is the blockchain building framework. So I gave you a lot of hype that you can build this customizable blockchain. So this is the framework that lets you do it. And how do you do that? You have all these battle tested libraries. So you've seen like Polkadot has been running, and all of the blockchains within Polkadot have been running for the past 3 years without like vulnerabilities. Like, all these modules are out there. So you are able to use them, reuse them in your own blockchain, and then sort of uh, build stuff. So for that, like what we have is called, what we call it frame. It has like a huge, there's the framework for runtime aggregated, like modularized entities. In the end, it's like a library that you could just import and then sort of do your work on top of. So the way it works is, let's say today I wanted to build a blockchain. Okay, so what I'm gonna think about is like, okay, so my blockchain needs like accounts functionality, my blockchain needs staking functionality, maybe my blockchain will need democracy. So then it's almost like drag and drop of these blocks. So these frame palettes are like these libraries. So I can just bring them into my blockchain core runtime and then run the blockchain node. And from day one, like block number one, I have all this functionality with me. I think now is the time I show you like a demo. Let me stop sharing this. And yeah. Okay, so let's go to Substrate node template. All right, share screen. All right, so I'm sharing my whole like desktop. So we have like a Substrate node template. Okay, so this node template is basically a blockchain network, like from scratch. So you could download this template and then sort of compile it, and I have it ready here. Okay, so on GitHub I have Substrate node template. I have it open on my terminal. So let me close. Okay. So basically, I'm going to close this. So with Substrate node template, I'm opening a terminal. Okay, so I have this. And in here, earlier I sort of built the blockchain network. Okay, so let me do that build like live in front of you. So basically, for you, if you download and do this, it would take time. I already pre-compiled it. But anyway, so it's compiling the blockchain node. And this comes with like some functionality. So let me show you where it is. So this is, so I told you like palettes, right? So palettes are like these custom logics that you can write. So here I have like a template palette. So let me go to the library file. And again, like you'll be introduced to all of the structure of the palette, but I'm gonna show you like a few things here. So here it says public function do something, okay? And then there's a public function cause error. So this is just like a template showing you, okay, you can write functions like this to do something or to cause error or whatever. And then there is a way for you to like even import palettes from, the external library. So you can see that here. So in runtime, so you see that we imported like balances palette. So you just had to write this one line of code to go to this GitHub repository, go to that particular branch of Polkadot and import balances palette. Now, just by including this and a bunch of other lines, you're able to give like balances functionality to your blockchain right from the beginning. All right, so we have the node compiled. So I'm once the node is compiled, it goes to target, folder here. And then because I'm compiling it in debug mode, so in debug, like there is a node template binary. So I'm initializing that in a developer mode. So let me do that. Okay, so it started like a Substrate node. So on my computer live, I have like a blockchain node that is started. So it imported like block number 1, and then because it's running just on my machine, there is no peers, so it's not connected to anybody. So it's basically producing blocks now. So we're at block number 3. Now this is too cluttered. Let me show you how you can look into this blockchain in a better way. So you can go to Polkadot.js. So Polkadot.js gives you like this front end for, okay, so this is connected to Polkadot, but let's go to development and let's connect to the local node. So let me move this here, and then I'm switching this. Yeah. So basically you can see on my local node, I have block number 8, the same information, it's being shown in a much better fashion here. So I have block number 9. Good. And then I told you that, so go to developer and extrinsics. So here I showed you that we already have like balances palette, right? So balances let you transfer balances from one account to the other. And to include this, it was almost like a drag and drop. So there's one line that I included. And I also showed to you the template module earlier, which had like 2 functions. So one is do something, the other one is cause error. Now you, as a parachain developer, are going to add this functionality to your blockchain. So the moment you are familiar with Substrate, writing these functions would be intuitive. So you write them, and then you're able to access them directly from this interface. You're able to interact with them. So I can show you a couple of examples. So on Polkadot, I showed you earlier, there are parachains that do specific things. So let's go to Akala, which is like a DeFi parachain. So if you look at their extrinsics, so you have DeFi related stuff. Like there's a DEX, there is like an Oracle, there is I don't know, there's a DEX Oracle. They also have like EVM compatibility. So they have EVM accounts, and so on and so forth. They have NFTs. And I mentioned to you, there's something called as BitGreen that is doing environment carbon credits related work. So if you go to their palettes, so they have, so they have carbon credits, they have carbon credit pools. Let's see like what they have in carbon credits. So they added all these functionalities to their blockchain. So every single parachain on Polkadot, let's go to Kilt that does like decentralized identity. So they have DID, which is like decentralized identifier, right? So every blockchain has mastered the Substrate development pipeline, and they're creating like their own palettes, and they're reusing a lot of other stuff. So they didn't have to build balances palette on their own. So they're importing like the balances palette from like Substrate frame library. So let me go back to the local node again. So we are in the Explorer block number 33. Every 6 seconds, I'm producing a block, which is fine. Let me do something with this blockchain. Okay, so let's go to accounts. Because this is like a template node, it comes with like a pre-configured test account. So we have Alice account with 1 million tokens. So let me transfer some tokens from Alice to Ferdy. Okay, let's do this. Transfer, sign us up. Okay, the transaction is successful. It is in block. If you want to verify this thing on your own, you could go to Network and Explorer. Okay, so there's a balance transfer happened from Alice to Ferdy. So many tokens were sent. And then there's another event saying Ferdy's account has been endowed with this particular balance, right? So that is there. So it's like a live blockchain node that you're able to that you're able to like play with right from the beginning. Let me stop this. So the moment I stopped it, the chain stopped working. I can go to this code and runtime. I told you runtime is the brains of the blockchain, right? So let's look at its source code. In here you have a way to customize like your blockchain. So here you're saying balances are U128, so U128 is the unsigned, 128-bit primitive in Rust. So balances can be that big. We have like a hashing algorithm here. So I want to show you something interesting here. Okay, so right now I told you Substrate is very flexible, right? So right now a block is being produced every 6 seconds. So I could actually change this to 1 second if I wanted to. So let me save this. And yeah, let me compile this again. Yeah, so let it do its work, but I'm going to show you like other things in here. So you have like multiple palettes that I mentioned, right? So let's look at balances palette here. So palette balances. So here I mentioned to you like existential deposit. So existential deposit, like you have an ability to sort of set the value that you want here, so you can customize that as well. You can customize other parameters here, like how many reserves and how many locks can be there. So here, for instance, there are 50 locks on the balances palette, etc. And yeah, so and then finally you have what's called a construct runtime. So this is where you're compiling the brain of the blockchain. So you're putting all these individual palettes together along with the template module. Okay, so template module is what we saw earlier with that do something, etc., etc. So you're putting all this together and then compiling this into blockchain logic. Okay, so this thing compiled. Now I'm going to run the same node and show you that this node will run like with one second block time. So let's validate that. So now the block production is really fast. Let me connect to, so let me connect. Yeah, so every block is being produced like in 1 second. So then, yeah, so 15, 16, 17, now you have like a block producing every second. If I added new business logic to my blockchain, so that will be visible here, and that's something we can do like later, like when you get to Substrate tutorials, you'll see how to add a new palette, how to modify contents in a new palette. You'll be seeing all of this in live there. So I'll see the questions. We have some questions. So Polkadot, I've observed fewer on-chain transactions coming in transaction occur on pilot. Yes, so that's precisely the thing, right? Like you would want to make blockchain specific transactions on. So Polkadot is like a layer 0, and then its job is to just validate parachain blocks, and its job is to like let them talk to each other. And again, you have balances functionality on Polkadot. The future design of Polkadot will look like all of those functionalities will be on parachains also. So basically, you're going to have like a governance parachain, you're going to have account balances parachain, and Polkadot will be like this very thin internet style blockchain layer that does parachain block validation and assisting in their communication. All right, so let's do this slideshow. Yeah, so basically you're able to drag and drop like these palettes and then create like a new blockchain.